Hey guys, good morning. It is 9 o'clock and we are leaving Las Vegas. I have been here for almost a week and I've been staying with a friend of mine named Matt. You haven't seen much of that. I had a week to kill after I put a wrap on the hood, which I don't even know if I made an episode about that. A few things have been happening. After I left Agile and had my suspension, struts, and lift kit installed, I got a call from Washington where Sam and Just Roaming Design is. They're the guys who run the ambassadorship for Victron and do van builds. And they're the people that are going to set me up with my electrical system. I discussed with them timing on when I should arrive so that they could kind of spend a few days with me. And Sam told me that he had some business to attend to. He was going to be on some trips. He wasn't going to be in the office. He apologized profusely, but he said, I'm not going to be available to meet you until like the 20th. Today's the 14th. And so that happened around the 6th when I heard about that. So I had a choice of whether I wanted to start worming my way up coast of California and getting to the cold parts of America before I knew I was really going to meet anybody, or I could find a place that I knew quite well, just sort of hang loose with a friend of mine until I needed to start going north. And so I chose option B, and I headed from basically San Diego all the way up to Vegas. And so I drove to Vegas and I stayed with a friend of mine, Matt. Some of you know Matt, some of you don't know Matt, but he's a really good friend of mine. He visited me before I climbed Everest, and he also hiked the largest cave in the world in the jungles of Vietnam with me, Son Doong Cave. I spent the last week working on videos, organizing, making some calls, and chilling someplace that was a little bit warmer. But now it is time for me to start heading up north. We are going to head to a city called Bend, Oregon. That's where a company called ZAMP is, and they do solar panels. And so we're going to go up, try and meet with ZAMP before we go to Just Roaming so we can get some solar panels on the top of the van. This is the default position for the passenger seat. It's very, very nice. So if I stop at a rest stop or something and I want to work on my computer, all I got to do is sit on my swiveled seat and get some things done, which is very cool. It was funny because I ended up meeting a lot of my old friends who I haven't talked to since before I left for China. And the Matt that existed before China was really, really different. I would meet some of these old friends and they would barely know. They're like, hey Matt, what's going on? And then you start to open up and you say, things like, cycle tours around Asia and climbing Everest and running marathons in North Korea and running marathons on the Great Wall of China and getting hit by a truck while I'm on my journey and then traveling all these places. It's quite interesting to talk to people from my past life about my present life. I did talk to Just Roaming Design a little bit and got some interesting insight. So for the VANLIFE people, the people that are curious about the system in the van, he's going to help me to install the electrical system, but he wants to install the whole thing. And I told him that I said that's not really possible because the interior is not finished and I want to build the electronic system into the interior as I build the interior. He was saying that my 48 volt system as it exists is going to be quite advanced and it's going to be sort of finicky, and he wants to make sure that an amateur or a DIYer isn't doing it himself. And he said he really, really wants to install, that was his intention, was to install it himself. And I think it was just a miscommunication between the two of us. So this is the deal. He's going to send me back to Detroit with all of the equipment I need in order to install the framework of the system. He's going to encourage me not to install the finished product and actually electrify my system. Instead, he says, I want you to come back to my shop and then we will finish the van when your interior is all ready and when all the electronics are somewhat hooked up, and then he's going to help finish it off. This is not like an ideal circumstance because I'm going to have to come all the way back to Washington. The way he said it is, Matt, you're basically going to have about a $29,000 electrical system, and you're going to have this amazing electrical system, and you are going to, oh, is that police car got somebody, or is he just playing around? I think that police guy is just kind of hanging out and having fun with his lights. He said, you're going to have like a $29,000 electrical system, and we are basically helping you with this project because we want to learn more about our electrical system. We want to use you as sort of a guinea pig for a couple of components that we're integrating. We want to learn from your system, and we don't want you to accidentally make a mistake and hook red to black or something and end up just ruining it before you even get a chance to use it. And it's a big investment to sort of just play around with. And so I agreed to that. That made a lot of sense, especially when he kind of conceptualized exactly how expensive the installation and the components are. This van is going to be pretty technological, and I don't want to sort of mess that up. We will pick up the stuff. We will go up to Vancouver. Then we'll come back into the United States, head over to Detroit, and then we will start building in the interior. I started telling him about the different things, the cruise and comfort system, which he knows very well, the alternator system, which is going to be very awesome. The alternator for this van is going to be extremely efficient and extremely powerful. Because it's a 48 volt system, I'll be able to charge my batteries at a real enhanced rate. So that's very, very cool. You'll learn more about that later. But the alternator is coming from a company called Nations Alternator. And one of the other things I talked to him about was the fact that I have a in-floor hydronic heating system. And he's like, who's doing your heating system? And I said, well, it's going to be contributed by SBAR. And he's like, we do a lot with SBAR. We make oh, there he is. Oh, he had a place to go, I guess. Is that the same cop? I don't know. That looks like a different. I think the other car was black. That's not black. That's gray. He started talking about Rickson and a couple of different suppliers who actually do parts and design parts and systems using SBAR and work on behalf of SBAR. He said, we actually make the floors for your system. Who's doing your floor? And I said, well, you, if you want to. And so he's like, yeah, we would love to do it. As a matter of fact, I told him about making a video of the cutting of the floor, because they do a real special way to create these floors, and he was really excited about it. He wants to share the idea of how these floors are made, and that's awesome, man. That's very cool. So it looks like we'll have a very competent manufacturer, an experienced manufacturer, helping to design and cut in the floor for my hot water heated floors. And what he said is we can basically build you the whole floor with piping, and then I can go back to Detroit and like build the interior around it. So we're gonna go to Washington. They said that they can install the alternator, they can install all the bracketing and stuff under the van, and then I will go back to Detroit with all the components, build the interior, don't hook it up, bring it back to Washington, and then they'll hook it up. Another thing that they're going to hook up into it is a 5G LTE T Mobile powered diagnostic component that will communicate real time all of the electrical systems in the van. And my van is basically going to be a test subject for their 48 volt systems on behalf of Victron. And so if I have any problems, if I have any concerns, I can call up Victron, Sam at Just Roaming, and he'll be able to say, I'm pulling up your system right now, it's on my phone, it looks like you're having a problem with power supply here, or it looks like you're blowing it. I don't know how advanced the system is, but it seems like it's very advanced. And so he'll be able to diagnose problems with the van and also use the van as a learning tool for understanding like how these systems work and how to build them better in the future. So that's pretty cool. I guess it's pretty desolate up here. It's just desert with pockets of villages and cities, and there's a lot of ghost towns and stuff. Maybe we'll visit a couple of ghost towns here at the end of this video. I'll see if I can get off the road, maybe make some drone videos and whatnot. We've got a couple of days. We've got all weekend basically to get up to Oregon, 800 miles away. I could do it easily in 2 days. So I could do it hard in like 1 day. It all is what it is. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I was supposed to head up the coast of California, but when I came to Vegas, I found there was a better route just to go through Nevada into Oregon. And by going through Nevada into Oregon, I also stay away from those high gas prices in California, which would zap a few $100s from my pocket pretty easily. So, oh, that's the guy. That's the police guy. And what is that? He pulled somebody over. Anyways, so I'm going to end the vlog right now, and we'll see where we pop up next. I have no idea. Jayoe.